Anatomy and Physiology, the Nervous System and Our Senses, Things You Should Know, Questions and Answers, by Rumi Michael Lee. Introduction. I would like to thank and congratulate you for listening to this book, Anatomy and Physiology, the Nervous System and Our Senses, Things You Should Know, Questions and Answers. This book will help you understand, revise and have a good general knowledge and keywords of the nervous system. Part 1. 1. What are the two major parts of the nervous system? The two major parts of the nervous system are the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. 2. What is the function of the nervous system? The function of the nervous system is processing and transmission of information. 3. What are the two main types of nerve tissue cells? The two main types of nerve tissue cells are neurons and gliocytes. 4. What are neurons? Neurons are nerve cells that produce and transmit impulses. 5. What are gliocytes? Gliocytes are cells that protect neurons. 6. What is another name for a long axon? Another name for a long axon is neurofiber. 7. What happens when a neuron receives an adequate stimulus? The neuron produces an electrical signal. 8. What is depolarization? Depolarization is the reduction of the membrane potential. 9. What is hyperpolarization? Hyperpolarization is the increase in the membrane potential. 10. What is the threshold of depolarization? The threshold of depolarization is -55 MV, -50 MV. 11. Does the action potential have different values? No, the action potential does not have different values, it always has the same value. 12. How does impulse spread? Impulse spreads away from its point of origin. Part 2. 1. What are the two main factors of the propagation velocity? The degree of myelination of the axon, and the diameter of the axon. 2. What is a synapse? A synapse is a junction that allows the transfer of information between neurons. 3. Is the nerve impulse equal to the action potential? No, the nerve impulse is not equal to the action potential. 4. What is the weight of a man's brain? The weight of a man's brain is approximately 1.6 kg. 5. What is the weight of a woman's brain? The weight of a woman's brain is approximately 1.4 kg. 6. What are the three parts of the brain? The three parts of the brain are the brain, the cerebellum and the brainstem. 7. What is the function of the limbic system? The limbic system is the emotional side of the brain. 8. What are the three parts of the brainstem? The three parts of the brainstem are the bridge, the spinal bulb and the midbrain. 9. What constitutes the diencephalon? The hypothalamus, the thalamus and the epithalamus. 10. What is the function of the cerebrospinal fluid? The cerebrospinal fluid serves to nourish and protect the central nervous system. 11. Is the cerebrospinal fluid a transparent liquid? No, the cerebrospinal fluid is not a transparent liquid. Part 3. 1. What is a concussion? A concussion is a trauma to the head that can cause a loss of consciousness, without serious injury. 2. What is a cerebral contusion? A cerebral contusion is a more or less serious attack, which destroys the nervous tissues. 3. What is a stroke? A stroke is an attack that happens when the brain is deprived of oxygen. 4. What are the symptoms of a stroke? The symptoms of a stroke include language disorder, verbal expression, problem in understanding, paralysis, etc. 5. What is Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's disease is a degenerative disease of irreversible neurons that cause oblivion. 6. What is Parkinson's disease? Parkinson's disease is a degenerative disease of the neurons that cause traction disorder and tremors. 7. How many cranial nerves are there? There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. 8. Which cranial nerve is an exception? The vague nerves, the 10th pair. 9. How many pairs of spinal nerves are there? There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. 10. What is paralysis? Paralysis is the loss of traction. 11. What causes paralysis? Paralysis is caused by nerve and/or muscle lesion. Part 4. 1. An incomplete paralysis is called? An incomplete paralysis is called paresis. 2. What are the two types of paralysis? The two types of paralysis are the paralysis of the central origin and paralysis of the peripheral origin. 3. Hemiplegia affects which part of the body? Hemiplegia affects half of the body. 4. What is paraplegia? Paraplegia is an almost complete paralysis. 5. What is tetraplegia? Tetraplegia is a paralysis of the four limbs. 6. What is often the cause of quadriplegia? The cause of quadriplegia is often caused by a spinal cord injury. 7. Is the somatic nervous system involuntary? No, the somatic nervous system is not involuntary, it is voluntary. 8. What are the effectors of the somatic nervous system? The effectors of the somatic nervous system are the skeletal muscles. 9. The autonomic nervous system is composed of? The autonomic nervous system is composed of the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. 10. What is the function of the sympathetic nervous system? The sympathetic nervous system prepares the body for emergencies. 11. What is the function of the parasympathetic nervous system? The parasympathetic nervous system helps the body to conserve energy. Part 5. 1. What are the effects of the autonomic nervous system and the peripheral nervous system on the same organ? The autonomic nervous system and the peripheral nervous system have opposite effects on the same organ. 2. What is the function of the vagus nerve? The vagus nerve protects the viscera. 3. What is the neurotransmitter released by the parasympathetic autonomic nervous system? Acetylcholine. 4. What is the neurotransmitter released by the sympathetic autonomic nervous system? Norepinephrine. 5. Name the 5 senses. The sense of vision, taste, hearing, smell and touch. 6. What is paresthesia? Paresthesia is the disorders of sensitivity, for example, tingling, etc. 7. What are nociceptors? Nociceptors are pain receptors. 8. What is the lens of the eye? The lens of the eye is a transparent and biconvex lens. 9. Is the lens flexible? Yes, the lens is flexible. 10. What is glaucoma? Glaucoma is the increase in intraocular pressure. 11. What is cataract? Cataract is the opacification of the crystalline lens. Part 6. 1. What is astigmatism? Astigmatism is an abnormal curvature of a part of the lens or of the cornea. 2. How is myopia corrected? Myopia is corrected by a concave glass. 3. How is hyperopia corrected? Hyperopia is corrected by a convex glass. 4. What is presbyopia? Presbyopia is the loss of the elasticity of the crystalline lens. 5. How is presbyopia corrected? Presbyopia is corrected by a convex glass. 6. What are the 5 fundamental sensations of taste? The 5 fundamental sensations of taste are sweet, salty, bitter, acid, and umami. 7. Which parts of the tongue perceive the 5 flavors? All parts of the tongue perceive the 5 flavors. 8. Is the sense of smell part of the limbic system? Yes, the sense of smell is part of the limbic system. 9. Are memories linked to smell? Yes, memories are linked to smell. 10. What is anosmia? Anosmia means loss of appetite. 11. What are the 3 distinct parts of the ear? The 3 distinct parts of the ear are the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. Part 7. 1. The ear is connected to which bone of the skull? The ear is connected to the temporal bone. 2. Sounds are what type of waves? Sound waves are mechanical waves. 3. What is presbycusis? Presbycusis is the decrease in hearing due to aging. 4. Do glial cells have excitability? No, glial cells do not have excitability. 5. What is neuroia? Neuroia is a set of glial cells. 6. Where are the Schwann cells? Schwann cells are in the peripheral nervous system. 7. Give an example of a glial cell. An example of a glial cell is the cell of Schwann. 8. What is the function of the peripheral nervous system? The function of the peripheral nervous system is the communication between the body and the central nervous system. 9. What is the function of the central nervous system? The function of the central nervous system is the processing of sensory information. 10. Name the 2 types of pathways of the peripheral nervous system and their functions. The afferent pathways are fibers that transfer information to the central nervous system from the outside to the inside. The efferent pathways are nerve fibers that transfer information from the central nervous system to the effector organs. 11. Name some effector organs. Some effector organs are the glands and muscles. Part 8. 1. What are the types of afferent fibers? The types of afferent fibers are visceral afferent nerve fibers and somatic afferent nerve fibers. 2. What is another name given to the somatic nervous system? The voluntary nervous system. 3. What are the nerve pathways of motor skills? The nerve pathways of motor skills are the direct and indirect motor pathways. 4. What is the role of the cerebellum? The cerebellum controls movements. 5. What is the first characteristic of a neuron? The first characteristic of a neuron is its excitability. 6. What are the 3 structures of neurons? The 3 structures of neurons are its receiving, conductive, and secreting structure. 7. What are the 2 major types of neuronal extensions? The 2 major types of neuronal extensions are axon and dendrites. 8. Are dendrites long extensions? No, dendrites are not long extensions, dendrites are short extensions. 9. Are dendrites myelinated? No, dendrites are not myelinated. 10. Are there many dendrites? Yes, there are many dendrites. 11. What is an axon? An axon is the conductive structure of the neuron. Part 9. 1. What are dendrites? Dendrites are the receptor structures of the neuron. 2. What is the synaptic button? The synaptic button is the secreting structure. Its function is to release neurotransmitters. 3. Are all the parts of an axon covered in envelope? No, not all the parts of an axon is covered in envelope. 4. What is the myelin sheath? The myelin sheath is what surrounds the axon, its envelope. 5. What kind of envelope does myelin have? Myelin has a segmented envelope. 6. What are the functions of myelin? The functions of myelin include acceleration, insulation, and protection. 7. Myelin is composed of? Myelin is composed of proteins and lipids. 8. What separates the two hemispheres of the brain? The longitudinal fissure. 9. What separates neurofibers from one another? The endoneurium. 10. What nerve carries parasympathetic nerves? The oculomotor nerve. 11. The nerve is rich in what kind of tissue? The nerve is rich in connective tissue. Part 10. 1. A dermatome is a skin region innervated by a spinal nerve. 2. The cerebral lobe of vision is the occipital lobe. 3. There are how many axons per neuron? There is one axon per neuron. 4. Is the central nervous system vascularized? Yes, the central nervous system is vascularized. 5. Can neurons be unipolar, bipolar, or multipolar? Yes, neurons can be unipolar, bipolar, or multipolar. 6. Neurons are also called neurocytes. 7. Can an axon be myelinated or non-myelinated? Yes, an axon can be myelinated or non-myelinated. 8. What transmits the nerve impulses to the body of its neuron? A dendrite transmits the nerve impulses to the body of its neuron. 9. Can a neuron be able to repair itself in case of lesions? Yes, a neuron can be able to repair itself in case of lesions. 10. Can a nerve be composed of connective tissues? Yes, a nerve can be composed of connective tissues. 11. The accessory nerve is what kind of nerve? The accessory nerve is a motor nerve. Part 11. 1. What are the three parts of the brainstem? The three parts of the brainstem are the mesencephalon, the bridge, and the bulb. 2. What is contained in large quantities in the gray matter of the spinal cord? The synapses. 3. What is the function of the lens? The lens is used to send light to the retina. 4. Name the types of sensory receptors. The mechanoreceptors and chemoreceptors. 5. Name 4 diseases of the nervous system. Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder. 6. What is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is having hallucinations, etc. 7. What lobe of the brain is responsible for memory and learning? The frontal lobe. 8. What is the function of the right hemisphere? The emotional side of the brain. 9. What is the function of the left hemisphere? Language, logic, etc. 10. The interior of a cell contains what kind of charge? A negative charge. 11. The exterior of a cell contains what kind of charge? A positive charge. Part 12. 1. Is the plasma membrane of a neuron polarized or non-polarized? The plasma membrane of a neuron is polarized. 2. What is found in the spinal cord? White matter. 3. What helps regulate muscle tone? Dopamine. 4. What regulates the activity of the autonomic nervous system? The hypothalamus. 5. What is the cranial nerve that connects directly to the telencephalon? The olfactory nerve. 6. Where are neurotransmitter receptors located? Neurotransmitter receptors are located on the postsynaptic membrane. 7. Is the graduated potential more powerful than the action potential? No, the graduated potential is not more powerful, the action potential is more powerful. 8. What sense is more pronounced in women than men? The sense of smell. 9. Name the two types of sensory receptors. The interoceptors, stimuli from the inside, and the extraceptors, stimuli from the outside. 10. Designate a passive mechanism with a concentration gradient. Diffusion. 11. Also name the active mechanisms. The potassium and sodium pump. Part 13. 1. What is white matter? White matter is in the exterior and it is part of the tissue of the central nervous system. 2. What is gray matter? Gray matter is in the interior and it is part of the tissue of the central nervous system, and also a part of the cellular bodies of neurons. 3. Why is it that you don't smell an odor as much when you stay in an area for a while? This is because the frequency of the odor decreases. 4. Why is clinical diagnosis the most important? Clinical diagnosis is the most important because the patient's condition changes. 5. What is the duration of a testing for coma? The duration of a testing for coma is 1 hour. 6. What is the name of multiple nervous attacks? Polyneuropathy. 7. What size can neurons achieve? 1 meter long. 8. How many neurons are there in the brain? There are approximately 100 billion neutrons in the brain. 9. What is the percentage of brain water? The percentage of brain water is about 75%. 10. What is semiology? Semiology is a branch of medicine that deals with the search for signs and symptoms in order to find diagnostics. 11. What are somatic complaints? Somatic complaints is when a patient expresses his pain by gesture, speech, crying, etc. Part 14. 1. What are analgesic positions? Analgesic positions are unusual positions that aim to relieve or avoid pain. 2. How do you define pain? Pain is a reaction to a physical, emotional, and unpleasant sensation. 3. What is macular degeneration? Macular degeneration is a degeneration of the retina, often related to age. 4. Do elderly people produce the same amount of saliva as young people? Yes, elderly people produce the same amount of saliva as young people. Are the following the parasympathetic system, or the sympathetic system? 5. When the bronchi contract? The parasympathetic system. 6. Adrenaline production? The sympathetic system. 7. The secretion of digestive enzymes? The parasympathetic system. 8. Accelerating heart rate? The sympathetic system. 9. Contraction of the sphincter of the bladder? The sympathetic system. 10. When the ciliary muscles relax? The sympathetic system. 11. Storage of glucose by the liver. The parasympathetic system. Part 15. Are the following the sympathetic or the parasympathetic system? 1. The inhibition of saliva. The sympathetic system. 2. The dilation of the blood vessels of the lungs. The sympathetic system. 3. The secretion of insulin. The parasympathetic system. 4. The relaxation of the bladder sphincter. The parasympathetic system. 5. The production of tears. The parasympathetic system. 6. The erection of the sexual organ of a man. The parasympathetic system. 7. The decrease in urine production. The sympathetic system. 8. Orgasm stimulation. The sympathetic system. 9. The secretion of norepinephrine. The parasympathetic system. 10. The dilation of the pupil. The sympathetic system. 11. The production of mucus from the nasal glands. The parasympathetic system. Part 16. 1. What is classified as death in a medical context? Cerebral death. 2. What is cerebral death? Cerebral death is the lack of activity of the brain. 3. Which specialists can determine the death of an individual in a hospital? Intensive medicine specialists or neurologists. 4. In cerebral death, what is the part that always consumes energy? The part that surrounds the skull. 5. What is EEG? EEG is electroencephalogram. 6. What is the function of the EEG? The function of EEG is to view the electrical activity of the brain. 7. What is the minimum duration of coma? The minimum duration of coma is 1 hour. 8. What is apneic? Apneic means without spontaneous breathing. 9. Give another name for syncope. Another name for syncope is fainting. 10. What is often the cause of fainting? A very high drop in blood pressure. 11. What is latency? Latency is a long response time to a verbal order or stimulation. Part 17. 1. What is anosognosia? Anosognosia is when someone is not aware of his speech disorders. 2. What is gnosis? Gnosis is when someone realizes his speech disorders. 3. What is a non-declarative memory? A non-declarative memory means what we have learned or learning, etc. 4. What is declarative memory? A declarative memory means cultural knowledge, general and universal. 5. What is neuropharmacology? Neuropharmacology is the relationship between drugs, its effects and its function on the nervous system. 6. What is a reflex? A reflex is an action or involuntary gesture or response to a stimulus. 7. When does neuromodulation occur? Neuromodulation occurs when chemicals modify the activity of neurons, neurotransmitters, etc. 8. What makes it possible to release the neurotransmitter? Calcium lesions that enter the cell. 9. Where does the action potential end in the action potential graph? The action potential ends at the resting potential of the membrane. 10. What is neuropathy? Neuropathy consists of diseases related to the nervous system. 11. When does depolarization end? Depolarization ends after inactivating the sodium channels. Part 18. 1. What happens to neurons that do not have synapses? Neurons that do not have synapses die. 2. What happens to receptors connected to a canal? Receptors connected to a canal cause a rapid change in membrane potential. 3. How do the action potentials occur in myelinated neurofibers? The action potentials are produced at the nodes of the neurofiber. 4. How do the action potentials occur in non-myelinated neurofibers? The action potentials are produced by propagation throughout the axon. 5. What happens if the excitation threshold is reached? If the excitation threshold is reached, the action potential occurs. 6. Where do impulses spread to that are the sources of reflexes? Impulses spread to the reflex arcs. 7. Where are neurotransmitter receptors associated? Neurotransmitter receptors are associated with either a channel or a G protein. 8. Are the action potentials dependent on the intensity of the stimulus? No, the action potentials are not dependent on the intensity of the stimulus. 9. After depolarization, does the inside of the membrane potential become more or less negative? The inside of the membrane becomes less negative after depolarization. 10. After hyperpolarization, does the inside of the membrane potential become more negative or less negative? The inside of the membrane becomes more negative after hyperpolarization. 11. Where do we find the interneurons? The interneurons are found in the nerve pathways between motor neurons and sensory neurons. Part 19. 1. What is depolarization? Depolarization is the decrease in the membrane potential. 2. What is hyperpolarization? Hyperpolarization is the increase in the membrane potential. 3. The resting potential measures? The resting potential measures -70 mV. 4. What gives resistance to ion circulation? The plasma membranes of cells. 5. What does the efferent pathway consist of? The autonomic nervous system and the somatic nervous system. 6. What does the axonal terminations release? The axonal terminations release neurotransmitters. 7. What surrounds non-myelinated neurofibers? Non-myelinated neurofibers are surrounded by gliocytes. 8. Are gliocytes wrapped around the axon? No, gliocytes are not wrapped around the axon. 9. What are the sheath intervals called? The sheath intervals are called nodes. 10. Where does the impulse of sensory neurons occur? The impulse to central nervous system. 11. Where does the impulse of the motor neurons occur? The impulse out of the central nervous system. Part 20. 1. What protects the spinal cord? The cerebrospinal fluid and meninges. 2. What is psychosis? Psychosis consists of mental disorders such as schizophrenia, psychosis, etc. 3. What constitutes the prosencephalon? The prosencephalon consists of the diencephalon and the cerebral hemispheres. 4. What is the diencephalon composed of? The diencephalon is composed of the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the epithalamus. 5. What is myoclonus? Myoclonus is characterized by a sudden contraction of a muscle. 6. What is the role of the hypothalamus? The hypothalamus regulates the body temperature, thirst, appetite, etc. 7. Name 2 stages of memorization. Short-term and long-term memorization. 8. What is sleep apnea? Sleep apnea is pause in breathing when sleeping. 9. What is myelitis? Myelitis is the inflammation of the spinal cord. 10. Can sleep apnea cause hypoxia? Yes, sleep apnea can cause hypoxia. 11. What is dyslexia? Dyslexia is the difficulty of reading. Part 21. 1. Which gland secretes melatonin? The pineal gland. 2. What is neuralgia? Neuralgia is the pains of several nerves. 3. Name the types of lymph nodes. The motor ganglia and the sensory ganglia. 4. What is analgesia? Analgesia is a substance or medication that relieves pain. 5. All the cranial nerves come from the brain except the accessory nerves. 6. Name the trigeminal nerves. The maxillary nerve, the ophthalmic nerve, and the mandibular nerve. 7. What is dysarthria? Dysarthria is the difficulty of speech. 8. What is the neurotransmitter that stimulates skeletal myocytes? Acetylcholine. 9. What is trachoma? Trachoma is an infection of the cornea and the conjunctiva, and it is a very contagious disease. 10. What is labyrinthitis? Labyrinthitis is the inflammation of the labyrinth. 11. What causes deafness of perception? Deafness of perception is caused by lesions of nerve structures. Part 22. 1. What happens to the pupil with age? The pupil does not dilate as well with age. 2. What happens to the crystalline lens with age? The crystalline lens loses its transparency and also its elasticity with age. 3. What is the function of the iris? The iris adjusts the diameter of the pupil according to light. 4. What is the function of the cones? The cones adjust the input of the intensity of light from the eye and allow us to see colors better. 5. What is the function of the rods? The rods help us to see well at night or in a low light location. 6. How is light diverted when it passes through the eye? Light is diverted by the cornea and the lens. 7. What does the nerve part of the retina contain? The nerve part of the retina contains the photoreceptors. 8. What do photoreceptors contain? Photoreceptors contain cones and rods, ganglion cells, and bipolar neurons. 9. Give a function of the aqueous humor. A function of the aqueous humor is intraocular pressure. Conclusion. Thank you once again for listening to this book. I hope it has helped you in your journey to understanding the nervous system of the human body.